Hey everyone. I just want to get this started before we grab hold of Rick. I wanted to make sure that this was working. So if you are with me, can you please say hello? Let me know that you're there. And so I know that everything is in perfect working order, that I'm not sideways or anything like that. So let me know. Say hello if you see this. I see one person. Just say hello so I can see that this is working perfectly and not sideways. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Hi there. Hi there. Okay. So guys, I mean, I wasn't planning on doing this live. Not gonna lie about it. I had no plan or schedule to be on the live today at 6. However, I was speaking with Rick this morning and he was like, 6 o'clock looks good tonight. So here we are. And I want this to be so educational for you and so enlightening in a lot of different areas. So, Rick is someone that I had come across uh, in a manner that I never expected. So awesome. Here he is now. So I'm going to bring him on camera. We'll talk a little bit and then we will jump into all this awesome stuff that we want to talk about. So let me just add him. It says it works. So hopefully Facebook's in my favor tonight. Hello, Carol, Leslie. Thanks for stopping by, guys. And let's see if we can get Rick on here. So while I'm waiting, oh, I think you.
Come on!
There we go.
How are
Dude,
you?
I'm so excited that Facebook was so promising tonight. I was like, not sure how it was gonna go.
I know. You never know what you're going to get.
Right, right.
Good to be here with
So,
you.
Rick, this is awesome. I was just telling everybody, I was talking to you this morning and looking to plan ahead for a live, and you were like, "Oh, I'm ready tonight."
Absolutely.
Nothing like making me a little nervous, but I got this. I was like, "All right,
I
stretch me as far
know.
as you can," so I'm good. So anyway, let's get started so that we can. I want to get as much information out there tonight as possible to all that are tuning in, watching, been paying attention. Like you have educated us so much that our team is seriously making some noise right now, and it's an exciting time
Yeah,
that we got going on. So I
definitely.
want to,
I know.
but I do want to just back it up a little bit because there are newbies that are watching, people who have heard about a little of Overcome Nation, just not, they don't know what it is. They're not really sure. So let's start first a little bit about yourself. If you could just introduce yourself, I would do it, but all the details. So go ahead and introduce yourself so everyone understands, where you've come from.
All right. Well, I'm just a normal guy that didn't come from money, but had two great parents. My dad was a deputy sheriff and mixed martial arts. Sensei instructor, and so I was raised in a dojo with my dad, and I learned commitment and discipline and physical fitness and things like that. Um, wasn't much of a student. I didn't like school. Started my first business at 17 years old. Learned to work with my hands with just tile and the granite industry, and then stepped into clothing and things of that sort. And I always was a small business owner. Just I liked being able to be my own boss. However, my businesses always ended up owning me. I never had real freedom, and from there I stepped into Bible school and did that for about 12 years, and then went on the mission field for 9 years, and that was a those were life changing experiences. They were all short term, so I wasn't gone for an entire 9 years, just short term, 10 days at a time, different areas of the world. And but I had a great love for business, and it was business that allowed me to do it, and I didn't have to ask anyone for money, and supported all my own missions trips, and so Then I met a mentor that taught me the diamond industry and or the real estate industry, and shared with me that I should learn as much as I possibly could by reading books on financial education. That led to Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I realized that he didn't live too far from me, and he would offer these book studies about 5 times a year and on the weekends. And so I did that with him and Sharon Lecter, for about 5 years. And that changed my life, literally changed my life. And now I no longer wanted to be a small business owner. I wanted to be a big business owner.
Mm.
I wanted to have systems that could do that for me. I wanted to have cash flowing assets. I wanted leverage. I wanted to use banks. I wanted freedom in my time. And that was an area of business that was cut off to me because I was always a small business owner where you just buy yourself a job. And so that was super exciting for me and changed my life. I did very, very well in that industry, especially during the real estate boom. And that is where I met my first network marketer that was making over 1 million a year. And I was shocked to see that they could bring in that type of cash flow, over $100,000 a month in passive income without any employees. I just didn't know how it worked, and I had a completely different idea of what this industry really was. I thought it was about just pushing products and filling up your garage, and something that wasn't real. And so when I learned about it, I realized that it was much better than anything that I had ever been exposed to before in the way of of building a debt-free business at low cost and a
Mhm.
whole lot of financial freedom that was rooted in a system. That systems create wealth. And so it was my language. Here I had this financial literate mind that I spent a whole lot of money on with these gurus of business acumen, and network marketing seemed to fit perfectly within that understanding of financial education and business. And I was shocked by that. But I was mostly attracted to a couple of things. One was you could build a multi-million-dollar business in multiple countries at the same time, without any trucks or very little inventory and no warehouses and no employees, and that meant no payroll and no workman's comp issues, and debt free on, and spend anywhere from $3 to $15 a day to run your business, no matter how large it gets. Shocked by that. And so it was so much better. And then when I saw the multiplier that was attached to it, it was something greater than any franchise that I had ever seen, where you get a couple of people and they get a couple of people, and you now have 6 locations,
Right.
right?
Right.
And those people get a couple of people, and you have 18 and 54, and the multiplier was so staggering that I just thought, I have never seen anything like this. And so here I am, 17 years in this industry. I've never had to do anything else besides that. I do other things because I want to, never because I have to. The cash
Mm.
flow is unbelievable in this space. I'm just now, you know, uh, doing it better than I've ever done before, and it's a lot more organized. Mhm.
It's been amazing. I want to ask you. So you went and trained with Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lecter, and that was during your time, in tile and gemstones and things like that, where you had your typical brick and mortar type businesses with employees and things of that nature. When you got into network marketing, did you find it odd that maybe the company that you were involved with wasn't quite teaching the financial education of it? And how were you able to implement that in how the company itself was running its network marketing industry?
Well, the company was doing amazing. It was breaking records, and and it was really starting to make network marketing popular. And this company ended up racing to 1 billion in sales in its fourth year. And that was staggering growth,
Mm,
So it was really difficult not to make a lot of money in a
right.
company that had so much momentum at the time. And the product was, there was only one product at the time that was super sexy,
Mm,
and it was rooted in this Amazon rainforest, so it had some mystique about it, and it had just an incredible story. And so it made it even easier to accelerate and build a large business quickly. Um, but I found that there were a lot of people that that come into this industry, no matter what the company, and usually there's not a development program to help people think like a business owner.
mhm,
And you have to remember, out of coming out of all that teaching and training, and it became, it made me millions in a very short period of time just by having that education. And then stepping into this, I immediately realized that, wow, I could really take those people that are employee minded and bring them and teach them what it means to be a business owner. And so, what I mean by that is the majority of the people out there think like, this is how much I make when I work for an hour. And I needed them to become a person or a business owner that said, this is how much I make when I put a system to work for an hour. And there's a transition for them to go from employee to business owner, and face the rejections and the stereotype of network marketing, and it's a new skill for them, and uh, it's more than having an amazing product, even though products are the star of the show
mhm.
and the vehicle. And so there's so much to that needs to be there, and it was, and it is. But I found that most people quit on themselves because they they weren't they weren't prepared to build something slow. They were dreaming, and they wanted to go really fast, and they didn't know what to say, and their friends were saying, well, network marketing is not real, and they didn't know how to communicate the industry or the brand in a language of business, and so they just completely go inward and shut down. I wanted to fix that problem, and so it was a very natural step for me to start equipping them to learn and to think like a business owner, and so they can show the advantages of this amazing industry.
So when you say build the whole person, right? Build the person will build the business. When you're building them, what are you touching on to build the person?
Yeah, there's a lot of strengths that get developed when you become an owner of a business. You have to start building with the end in mind. So you need some vision, you need some imagination. There are some problems that you're going to need to solve along the way. So problem solving. You're going to need to get a hold of your emotions that say you can't do this, and get a hold of some mental strength that says you are going to, and you're going to be committed, and you're going to push through the hard seasons, fighting to believe in yourself, and you're going to learn how to be more credible, and all of those things lead to influence, and so if you're in any kind of business, you naturally, these strengths are pulling on you, and there's a lot more. Today there's like social media strength, and there's teaching strength, and there's love strength. You gotta love what you do and love people, and sacrifice strength, and there are many strengths that get developed in any business, and but especially in ours, that people have need of. And so all we do in Overcome Nation is bring those into the light, so they know what they're dealing with as they progress and what they have need of. So when they're like, "What is this? Gosh, how come this isn't working?" They're like, "Oh, well, I've, I'm letting fear grip me. I need some, some real belief strength.
Mm-hmm.
I need some courage. I need some education that could really, you know, equalize the pressure that I'm feeling, that outward intimidation and fear, and have a strength that rises up and equalizes that pressure and pushes back." And
Right.
so all we do is, through the education, is bring those strengths into the light, and it starts really building out that capacity that people have. Listening is a skill. A lot of times in our industry, we're so busy talking about the opportunity and the product that we forget to listen. So we just bring those things into life, so into the light, so they begin to see that, okay, I have need of these things, and they are ultimately making me better. They're giving me a
Right.
more understanding, and the more understanding I have, the more belief I have, and the more belief I have, the more I want to get out there and take action, until it becomes
Right.
routine, and then it becomes wealth building.
Yeah. And I can attest to that because when I first got involved with Overcome Nation, I was like, I'm a pretty well-rounded individual. I first heard you say, I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
I'm good. I've helped people. And there was a lot of the strengths that you just listed that got tested.
yeah,
And
sure
I
did.
mean tested. Like there were things I was like, oh, well, now I know what he means because I had to step out of some comfort zones. I had to um, you know, relearn some things that I thought I was fine with and that I was able to go through life with. So I appreciate that you have taught on that because it really has built me into a better woman. And what I mean by that is not just in the industry, but as well as a wife and a mother and family.
Yeah,
So I think that that's something that people miss is they don't realize that the building the person rounds you into all aspects of your life rather than just in the industry itself.
yeah,
I wanted to touch on the word mentorship.
yeah,
I find that so often it gets used very loosely,
sure does.
for lack of better words, I guess. It's an important word. It's very meaningful to have a mentor, but I often hear people, I have a mentor, I have a mentor, I have a mentor. So I'm going to be vulnerable a little bit. And there was a time when I first got into the business and they talked about mentors. You did, and a couple other people. And I was like, I don't have a mentor. So I reached out to you. I was just, no, you didn't even know my name at this point, and you didn't answer me back. And at
Mhm.
first I was like, oh my God, like maybe I shouldn't be here. And then I was like, oh no, this guy's gonna know who I am. So it like actually kind of lit a fire under me because I knew I needed one, but I just didn't know how to step myself into that until I started to educate myself through your school, right? And then I was able to say, okay, now I get it. Now I see that I had to get to certain levels to be able to be mentored because quite honestly, I'm not sure where I would have handled that in the very beginning or how I would have handled it. Or maybe it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
handled at all and, could have been chaotic. So um, I was reading In the Pursuit, right, by Dexter Yeager, and,
There you go.
the things that he has to say about mentorship, just the one that really stuck with me was your best friend ignores your weaknesses, but your mentor removes your weaknesses. So can you touch a little bit more on mentorship and like kind of dive into a little bit on what it should be for somebody who's really looking to be mentored?
Yeah. I agree. There's the mentor mentee relationship seems to be thrown around so much that it's lost its power in many conversations or cases, right? I mean, in most cases, they have nothing more than a coach. You know, when somebody becomes a mentor, you're truly ready to be mentored. You know, you're willing to let go of the excuses. You're willing to be very coachable. You're willing to be broken down to a degree to where, you know, they can't hurt you or offend you because you know that they are giving you the truth and they want what's best for you. You know, they're getting into the areas of the mentee's life that is uncomfortable for them. And it has to be a cooperation between both. And most of the relationships that are out there, when people say this is a mentor, um, it, they really are only letting the mentor speak into their life, and as long as he or she is doing what they want them to do. But the moment, you know, it touches something in their core that they disagree with, they get offended, and, you know, that ends the relationship.
Right.
That's not being you know, that's not a mentor mentee relationship. That's a conditional one,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've the people that I've learned the most from in life, whether it was through ministry or through financial education or in sports, those were the ones that I gave permission to really, really break me down. And even though there was a lot of things that they said that I didn't want to hear, I knew that they were working on my best behalf and for my best interests. And I knew that they were driven to bring the critique to an uncomfortable place in order to bring the best Rick I could possibly be out. And so it's really tough. It's really tough
Mm.
to. Oh, and what I was going to say, like, you know, I've heard them say that if a mentor can offend you while he or she is actually teaching you, and you walk away, you really weren't there in the
Mm.
first place. You were just using them to get what you want until it became some until the growth got to a comfortable place to where now you could really do the work. You
Right.
know, some of the things I find in the relationships that I have or the people that I truly have mentored, you know, the beginning of the relationship is really feels more like coaching until they get to a place where they've went out there and they've experienced the same problems that you've experienced, and then they go, how did you deal with it when you went through this, because I'm going through this now, and then
Mm-hmm.
how did you deal with it when you went through that, because I'm going through that now. In other words, they're doing the work, and as you do the work, the problems begin to arise, and now you actually have something to talk about. Now you
Mm.
have something where you can really teach and mentor. You can really go, okay, well, one of the reasons why you're feeling like this is because, you know, you have a habit of doing this, da 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 da. This is what I did. And sometimes those conversations are deeper and more uncomfortable than
Mm.
others. Um, but the person that's being mentored has to be willing to really listen to the difficult critiques and then still stick with them along the way, because the mentee is always getting the better end of the deal, not the
Right.
mentor,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
so there's a lot of mentor mentee relationships that get usurped or they get cut off because of that issue, and it's really a shame.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you touched on that because it's just been a word that I've been seeing a lot. And, and I've noticed that it's only in place, like you said, until they're actually reached the wall where they don't want to hear the truth, right? The truth. So so let's talk about that. Let's get on to that a little bit. I think the
Okay.
truth is a very uh, something I live by. It's just something that I've always said to anybody that knows me. Yeah, I'm going to lay it on the line for you. You're either going to like it or you're not. You're either going to like me or you're not going to like me. And that's okay because I'm okay with that as long as I always tell you the truth. And of course, in knowing you, like I had to calm down the New York end of the truth, just kind of as I've been growing as a person.
Yeah.
Um, but truth and trust, so important, right? So trust, like it took me a little bit. Like I'll talk about Kimberly actually. When she first reached out to me, I was like, slow up. I don't know who you are, you know.
Yeah.
And and she reached down and she just simply said to me, whatever you need, you let me know. But I didn't trust her yet. I didn't have a trust factor involved. I was like, I don't know you. You're from California. I'm from New York. We're two separate worlds. I don't know if I want to have this conversation.
Yep.
And yet, once I got involved and got to know her, I trust her. I trust her with my kid, with my husband, with my family. Like I trust her. Same thing with you. I learned because as I asked questions, you flat out told me the truth and you laid it on the line for me in full transparency. Because even in that initial conversation, you said, I'm still learning things too as I grow, right? So here you are in the industry for many years. You've had many life experiences, but you still grow, right? As we go. So let's talk about trusting within your teams. Like, let's get into how important it is to trust somebody, how important it is to trust somebody, and it's not always the one that's going from 0 to 60. That's the person that you want to be paying the most attention to. Like I want to get into what the value of the team really rides on.
Yeah. That's such a great question, and it requires me to think about it for a second. But I think there's a type of bandwidth in trusting in a relationship where you're learning about in our business. And that bandwidth is there are many areas that need discussion. And that trust comes from a person that is there for all of those little details and will take the time to really not be in a rush, but to really take the time and talk about this and talk about that and talk about this, um, in an area that is, or in a way to where, not only does it pull the best of a person out, but it creates that trust because you're not just putting in the time, right?
Right.
Um, and I'm not sure if that's what you're going after in terms of the question, but there really is a lot there because trust is super, super important, but it's difficult to be very transparent and to trust when you're just getting to know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know, there's a type of cadence or in the conversation, or there's a type of vulnerability that's in the conversation that is there. There's a willingness to answer the questions with real thought, like I'm doing right here, right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually
Yeah.
thinking about that, and that happens every day with a healthy mentorship that's or relationship that's building trust, a willingness not to be in, just trying to put the time in and just let's go. And I don't know, you just do it like this way, you just do it like that. Instead of really stopping and being and listening, because a solid mentor relationship, I know we keep coming back to this, or a solid mentor, he or she is listening to everything that you are doing and everything that may be and anything that may be holding you back. And it could be just that one thing, that one shift, that one change that causes that person to immediately connect all the dots at once. And
Right.
all of a sudden, an explosive change happens in their traction and their momentum and their behavior and their outlook. And it's remarkable that how just one you know stick that is stuck in that spoke, when it's removed, it just opens up the wheels to, and they begin to accelerate. It's exciting, but a solid mentor will stick around and go through the fire with you and in all of that. But
Mhm.
again, I just want to say this again: it's a two way street. There's a process to trust on both sides, right? Because
Yes.
when a mentor or a coach sees that his or her advice is hitting a wall of resentment and resistance, they're faced with the decision to go, do I bring this up again, or do I? Apparently, you don't want me in that section of your growth. So we're just going to have to, I'll cooperate. We'll just work on all those other things, but that is still
Right.
there. And you don't let them in to help fix the problem. And then it's like, you've seen that example with, it takes 2 feet walking straight. If one
Mhm.
foot is not working and the other one is, you're just going around in circles, right?
Circles. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that's what happens when you don't allow, um, you know, um, a time-tested mentor in to set you free in those areas.
Mm. You love it. Nice job. I
That was a
love
rough
that
one.
one.
I didn't think of it. I've never got a question like that ever.
Trust is huge for me. So, I was the person who, unfortunately, trust, you really have to earn it with me. It's just someone who I am. And you, Kimberly, your team, it's been amazing. I've been able to let a lot of guards down, which is a good feeling. Okay. So we talked about the trust. Now I want to bring into dive a little bit into building actual solid relationships within the team. How you keep your team, um, what's the word I'm looking for? How you keep your team to build on their relationships and not just depend on just not depend on my relationship with you. How you get your team to depend on each other, cross line, up line, down line. Like, for instance, Leslie and I did not sponsor Leslie. Leslie did not sponsor me. But yet, I mean, you would have thought that we've been friends for 25 years,
Yeah,
so so I want to know, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
sure.
getting
Yeah,
those
sure.
relationships strong within your team and keeping it strong.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that I don't make anything easy for my team because I want you to become a leader. I want to teach you so well that you no longer need me. It's always been my motive.
Mm,
And so I don't make it easy. And and the reason being is, as you're stepping up in leadership in the network marketing space, or say here in Deseo, those ranks are related to leadership. Leadership and rank go hand in hand. And with every level of leadership and rank, there's new responsibilities of ownership that need to take place. And if one person is doing it all for them, then they remain handicapped, even though they may
mm,
be going through some of those ranks. And that doesn't lead to a business that is one attached to freedom, because that means one person's doing all the work, right?
right.
And so that's definitely not the way to build. You're raising up, in my opinion, network marketing is about, and the pay that comes with it is about how many leaders you can raise up that are
Mm,
self-sufficient, right?
yeah.
You get paid for your ability to
Mm,
raise up leaders, right? And in that process of it not being easy, there are relationships that begin to build. And when things are not easy and you're solving problems, or if there's strife in the downline, or there's victories or and valleys, and everything that's associated with building businesses, whether it's traditional or our space, there are frustrations, and people get a chance to see you under pressure. They get to see you when you are raw. They
Mm-hmm.
get to see you when you're victorious, whether you are, they get to see you whether an ego starts, or you're so full of humility you want to cry. They see all of the things. And it's a lot like a marriage, to where you see each other's, you know, good, bad, and ugly, and you choose to build a relationship and a marriage with them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I believe teams really get galvanized, right? But it only happens when all parties are after the same cause, and are willing to let other people be who they are without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that happens in many organizations, even outside of network market. It happens in churches. It happens in team sports. It happens wherever you are trying to get a large group of people to begin to work together in harmony or rhythm. And and people have to agree internally. Those relationships get built through live and let live. I don't have to believe the way you do. You don't have to believe the way I do, but
Mm-hmm.
there are so many other things that we agree on, and we're best working together, right? That is what happens time and time again over time. And those that can't play well with the other children, you know, they'll find a different opportunity or a different option, and then there has to be a willingness for that to be okay too,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that, in all fairness, that was something that is never easy for a leader, you
Right.
know, um, because as a leader, I'm here to train, to equip with the right tools that they need to have massive success,
Mm-hmm.
and then release. And it's the releasing part that is a challenge, many
Right.
times for a leader.
Right.
And coming to terms with that, is can be really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, and so um, that's what I love about this business, is always is finding the areas where we could do better. And then
Right.
we're faced with the decision whether to step up and become better, or let it defeat us.
Right. Love it. Love it. So let's talk about not being defeated. I want to talk about the people who want to take some risk. So let's talk about risk. Let's talk about what your belief is on, everyone that's watching. People get in their comfort zone, right? I've always been the person that I jump and then I figure out how to fly on the way down. But most people are not like that, right? I've come across a lot of people that they're very calculated. They have to, read the entire book before they're even going to have a conversation about the first part of it. Like there's all kinds of things that are so intense to one individual, where me on the flip side of it, I was like, come on, like let's go. Right. So let's talk about taking a risk. Let's talk about, what someone's got to be feeling to want to take that risk.
Yeah. There's a difference between people that have that real spark from those that don't. And and it's learning how to identify who's who. Some get off to a slow start, and then some get off to a very quick start, and then
Mm-hmm.
some get off to a quick start and run out of gas and quit, and then some get off to a slow start and they're still here today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so many times it's difficult to see the characteristics that make up the difference, but um, I I through the years I found that I can help people in both of those areas by giving them the right education, right? For instance, our method of development in Overcome Nation is financial education,
Mm-hmm.
pushes belief. Belief in what? Belief in yourself, belief in the opportunity, belief in the product, right? That belief leads to action, right? Now you want to talk to people. That action leads to routine, your
Mm-hmm.
wealthy habits. And then that routine becomes wealth building, making all the money,
Yeah.
and everything in that order. And so when that is present, I've found that I've been able to salvage a lot more people from quitting on themselves because they didn't know what to do, and they didn't have a belief. And in our industry, you're immediately faced with an industry that people don't understand, and they need to know how to communicate the industry and the brand the way it deserves. And what better way to communicate a business than like a business,
Right.
right? Instead of, oh, come on, if I'm doing it, you're doing it. I mean, that goes, you can do that on certain occasions with the closest people in your life, but I want people to be able to build influence, so when they do communicate it, it's backed by truth and credibility. And I know that in life and investing and all of the, especially in business, people follow strength. They want to know that they're in good hands if they partner up with you.
Yeah.
And so that approach has really helped, um, keeping people from quitting on themselves right out of the gate. And I guess the one thing that you did say that I should probably address is a lot of people get stuck in that analysis paralysis. Excuse me. And when really, people that need to read the entire book before they even do one thing, or they need to research everything before, those are really insecurities and excuses. I mean, uh, Jim Rohn said it better than I ever could, and I'll try to do it some justice. But he said, for every person that is eating the fruit from the tree of success, there's 1,000 people standing around that tree with their arms closed, just still studying the roots, trying to find
Mm.
out why this elusive thing called success, continues to, just be is always beyond their reach, right? They're looking for why it's not going to work instead of imagination strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
And vision strength, and going,
Right.
I have a brain, I can figure it out. I can solve some problems along the way.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's why, Kiyosaki always said that in life, the A students always end up working for the C students,
Mhm.
and that's because the C students, they weren't the highest uh, on the education totem pole, that didn't get offered the highest paid jobs as employees, and so they were like, man, I got to figure this shit out on my own. I got to put food on the table. And what
Right.
do? They go and hire those that have been preparing their whole life to become an
Yeah.
employee. So they get the A students to come and work for them.
Right.
But the interesting thing about the C students is that they really are like, okay, I'll figure it out. What do I need to do? Okay, I'm going to go out there. I'll call you if I have some questions. And they're just too
Yeah.
busy going out there and making stuff happen. And those are the
Right.
signs of a person that is going to build a massive business in the sale.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a C student.
Yeah, me too.
um,
Yep.
okay, so I just want to jump one more thing because I don't even know what time it is. I don't have a clock in my office.
Who cares? I have
So,
plenty of time.
all right. So you've been intense in your trainings lately. The team is beyond fired up. We're looking forward. We're going to California in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's exciting. Things really revved up. What's your mission for the team? What's your goal?
Value, value, value. Value, value, value. I want to continue to bring the most innovation I possibly can to bring value to my team. I want them to feel, I want there to be a value for the culture, value for the learning and the education, value for where we're going, value that they're loved and they're in a safe place, value in the curriculum and all the mechanics and all of that. I want just massive value. I want them to feel like, man, there is no organization in the world that can offer you what Overcome Nation is doing. You know, I just put another $50,000 into the value of Overcome Nation and making it, you know, NFT with an NFT platform. No, I'm not selling NFTs. I'm giving them away, right? What is it? It's making our organization more relevant. Why? Because social media is talking about it everywhere.
Right.
I don't want them to go somewhere else and start learning about that kind of stuff. I want them to go to stay in a place where they're loved and there's a it's a source of trust that, you know, it's the path of least resistance, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we are in the middle of wealth creation. You know, Overcome Nation is and will continue to be even better, and that's what I'm working really hard on being, is to be the source of financial education and wealth development in the network marketing space. And that gives me, that broadens the boundaries wide enough to where I can fill it with value and relevance, right?
Mm-hmm.
The network marketing industry has the most innovative products out there. They've done a really, really good job with innovation and innovative products to compete in the marketplace.
Right.
Well, I want to bring the most innovation that I possibly can organizationally, not product wise, but
Mm.
organizationally,
Right.
because this industry is changing so much. People are being distracted by so many different things on social media. It's hard for them to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and in the majority of the network marketing space, it's just, this is how we do it, cookie cutter. We're going to do the same thing all the time. We don't want to hear anything else. And it's in many cases archaic. The
Mm-hmm.
rules have changed, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, look at how what we've been able to do with social media now, and with, you know, a virtual, doing virtual events and having virtual conversations. And, you know, I mean, we were the first ones to do that even when we first
Yeah.
started 5 years ago. So like
Yeah.
when this whole COVID thing came in and people had to go virtually, you know, I mean, it didn't affect us at all. It was business as usual, but we
Yeah.
were relevant. We were staying with that relevance. And so uh, I think organizationally, relevance and innovation has a place. And I'm going to continue to do that because I want people to feel like there is no better deal, no better education, no better culture than Overcome Nation. And there's
Yeah.
no other organization out there that is more relevant with everything else that's happening out in the world too. We just
Mm-hmm.
take all of that and focus and drive it right into Viseo. We take all that information, that development, that mindset, everything, and we drive it, we focus it right into Viseo, right into the network marketing space. And the
Mm-hmm.
result of that is people end up doing very, very well. And, you know, we have a mutual friend named Kim, and, you know, Kim's been with us for 5 years now. And when I met her, she was flat broke. And, you know, today she's worth almost $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't do that all in network marketing.
Right.
She did a portion of, she built a diamond business, but
Mm-hmm.
she learned the financial education. She learned how to qualify other investments
Mm-hmm.
through what she learned in Overcome Nation, and she multiplied her net worth in those
Right.
other areas without even, most important thing, without even losing a step
Mm.
in her Viseo business. And that is the
Right.
capacity that is important as an entrepreneur. I want to stay on this point because I think it's very valid. We spend a
It,
lot of time teaching people strengths of capacity, but there's
right,
another kind of capacity when it comes to entrepreneurship, and that is the ability to to uh, have a life outside of your full-time gig, and that life may involve investing in other things or ideas that you're bringing to life and that
right,
end up becoming another river of income,
yeah,
and still not losing a step in the first thing, right? In network marketing, it seems people just go, they're it's easy for them to become distracted to where they're focused on their network marketing business, and
right,
then they find out about something else, and so they go full bore into that, and they let their network marketing business die through distraction, and then another and another and another, so they're traveling and this fire is just burning up behind them, and they
right,
really never have multiples, they only have one, and it just keeps this domino effect where you're not really
right.
gaining any real ground. The
Mm-hmm.
capacity that I'm talking about is the capacity to do both at a 10, at a level 10, without being distracted. You
Mm,
know, there are a lot of people out there that, that are not fond of the way that I teach, but I want them to know that I'm very aware of how easy it is for people to be distracted and stop what they're doing in their traditional network marketing business and then doing something else. And I don't teach that way. I'm always bringing this kind of conversation into the table to where they are broadening their understanding of business and other things that are out there without losing focus of their
mm-hmm.
Paseo business. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. It would
Right.
make no sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in doing events or and having all these other things there and go, hey, just take your pick. I don't believe
Right.
in that because that
Right.
would never work. But in the education that people learn, they're able to sit down in a one-on-one with any person and have such a wide bandwidth of understanding of how big business is actually done. The question comes up, well, man, you know so much about so many of these different businesses and systems and cash flow and like, these other areas of financial education. Why network marketing? Now they're interested in, wow, you know all of this, but you chose network marketing. I'm fascinated by that. Why would you
Mm,
do that? I never thought network marketing was, that valuable. Tell me why.
mm,
And they're able to have a higher conversation with somebody that is a bigger earner than them in traditional business, or maybe know, a lot about business or small business or what have you. And there's some common ground there. And what does that do? It gives them a higher percentage to get somebody to say yes to this opportunity instead of seeing somebody that like that
right.
say no, and that person could have really built a black diamond business had they said yes. I want each and every individual on my team to be equipped with the tools to be able to have the best shot at bringing in a future black diamond into our business and not leaving it to chance.
I love it. So I'll be Black Diamond, just so you know. I want that.
I know you
I
will.
got it on video.
I know you will.
Rick, I mean, I think that you have delivered once again, you know, incredibly. I do want one last thing. Let's talk a little bit about Dominion.
Yeah,
Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's maybe you could share how you came up with such a name and who's allowed to
sure.
come, who's allowed to show up.
Well, yeah, well, everyone is allowed to come to our event, whether they're, you know, in our organization or somebody else's organization, as long as they're applying to school with it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm not soliciting other people, but people that are not in network marketing are coming out as well, and they're seeing, the video that we have circulating out there, and it's piquing their interest, and so everyone is no one will be kept at the door for any reason, so everyone is welcome. But Dominion to me, I probably should have called it Dominion Life, but it's really about having Dominion Life, and it's always been in my heart to give people more than what they're paying for. My approach that burns in me in this industry, and even as a younger, adult, I've always wanted to see people have massive success in any area of life that I could contribute to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an attitude and there is a mental game in having dominion in your life, to be able to rise above, to overcome, to take the land, to conquer. There's an attitude, there's a presence, there's a discipline, there's a commitment, there's a courage, there's a inward strength to have dominion in your life. And I want people to have dominion in all the areas of their life. Dominion in your peace, dominion in your overcoming, dominion in your business, dominion in the way you communicate, dominion in everything that you put your hands to. And so I'm not a person that puts themes together for events just because it's a funny name or a fancy name. It's a theme. It's
Mm-hmm.
a heart-based, deep well theme that has to be present in that season of people's lives. And the way I've seen people go in their lives and their businesses, and through COVID and things like that, many people have been put in a tailspin and feeling like, they're afraid that something else is going to happen today or tomorrow. There's a lot of fear out there.
Right.
And Dominion Life is a real answer for you to do life on purpose, and to do it with aggression and force and strength, and to push through or wake up something on the inside of you um, that is resistant to the outward pressures and the atmosphere and the things that we're seeing on social media and news and all of that. At the end of the day, it's about you taking your life back and conquering and taking care of your family, and from that deep well of everything's going to be more than okay. Why? Because I'm in control and God's
Mm.
in control, and there is a stepping up that a person has to carry. And I know that in this event, for what I have planned for it, there's never been teaching like this. It's been very difficult for me not to just get up and start teaching what I have waiting to be taught at Dominion. I've wanted to just, you know, train my team because I'm chomping at the bit. I'm biting my tongue because there's life-changing content that I've never talked about. There's
Mm.
life-changing content that I never discovered before
Wow.
either. I'm still a student too. There are light things that have changed, that are changing my life, and the things that I've discovered that I can't wait to share with everyone, that I know people are going to leave completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
If they're listening and they're engaging, they are going to leave. I mean, like right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, that was hard to beat," in terms
Wow.
of the revelation that's going to be there. And for 2022, it's time to have dominion in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to have dominion life. And so I'm really, really, if I'm being in all transparency, doing events has always been a chore for me for
Right.
17 years. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because my struggle in life is I'm a textbook introvert, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I like my circles of people and I like doing
Right.
things on my own terms. And when I get out there and teach on large platforms, it drains my battery. It doesn't fill my battery up. It drains
Okay.
it. And once I'm emptied out, I want to just run back to my room. And everyone who knows me knows that to be true. So events with large groups of people has always made me uncomfortable. Um, and so I've done them and prepared, and and they've turned out remarkably well, um, um, for most of them. But this is the very first one that I can say in my 17-year career that I wish it was tomorrow.
Mm.
And so something's going to happen. There should be an expectancy for everyone who's coming out and watching this. I want them to have they need to come there expecting, because it's going to be delivered. And I just can't wait to get on the other side of that.
Yeah.
We're
I know the whole team is excited.
yeah, and we're
Yeah.
this is our second event that we've done
Hmm.
on our own, and we've gone back to the mechanics that has produced diamonds in the past, and now we're just doing it better than ever
Yeah.
without any distractions. And that feels so good, to be able to do it in a way to where people are hungering for it,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we are so relevant. Overcome Nation is so relevant. I mean, look at this shirt. Come on.
I
Is this not
I
relevant?
mean,
Give me a break.
if only you had a sweatshirt for the Northeast.
I know. I got a beanie.
I know
Mhm.
the shirts are amazing. I mean, everyone. I hope you got enough, because people are gonna be you'll be out by the time we even
I
start.
know. I know.
Um,
I only brought 200, so.
yeah.
But there's only 50 of each color, so we'll see. But,
All right.
I want people to know it's more than a shirt. It's much more than merchandise. The content
Yes.
is just going to be unbelievable.
Yeah. We're all looking forward to. I mean, there's a whole bunch of chatter going on when you're not around. That they're just everyone's
Really?
fired up for this. Oh yeah.
I know. I've
Everyone's
seen
talking
it.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
a highly unusual amount of people that are exciting and
Yeah.
sharing what we're doing. Like you can't pay for that to happen. The people have to
No.
feel it. Like
Yeah.
it's happening. And we've done some pretty big events with 800-900 people,
Right.
just in Overcome Nation in the last 5 years. And
Hmm.
I've never seen anyone share videos like what's being shared right now. Like there's some real genuine excitement that once you capture it, you want to keep throwing
Yeah.
fuel on it, gasoline on it, and we're going to
Absolutely.
deliver. We're going to deliver.
No doubt in my mind. No
Guaranteed.
doubt in my mind. I never thought I'd be in California twice in a year.
I know. I know.
It took me 50 years to get there the
I
first time.
know. Tell Frank that I said thank you very much.
I will. I will. All right. So, I mean, Rick, this was incredible. And I'm sure so many people have learned so much. Let's close it up with just something to that one individual that's sitting on the fence thinking, should I or shouldn't I? What would you say right now?
In or out of network marketing?
They're not in yet. They want to go in.
Yeah. Man, I say this all the time, and that is give freedom a chance.
Mm.
Like, give freedom a chance. I have a great report around the world in the 17 years I've been in this industry. I've never had to do anything else. And I'm here to tell you that the network marketing space and the cash flow, when it's built correctly, and the rewards that come from it, there is nothing like it. Nothing like it. You know, all of the dreams so far in this chapter of my life at my age have come true because of network marketing. And when I aligned myself with Dallin Larson,
Mm.
I met him in my first
Absolutely.
company. He was amazing, and he started a sale. I wasn't going to miss that.
Hmm.
He was out of the industry for a while, and I missed him. And I worked with other companies, and none of them were like him. And him being here and working with him again has been significant and a safe place.
Right.
And so that is a luxury to have in this space. And I would want everyone to know that, like, I mean, when's the last time that you actually dreamed? When's the last time you've ever been able to take a 1 month vacation?
Mm.
When's the last time you've been able to just work, when you wanted to work, but if you didn't want to work, you still kept the money, still kept coming in because you built a cash flowing asset? When's the last time that you've been able to just not really worry about bills or time spent, or, what about your memories? Like, well, think about how many more memories you could have if you had more freedom in your time instead of being a slave to either your boss or the business you own.
Right.
What if you could replace that income or subsidize that income or 10 times that income here because of the system that's in place? What would your life look like
Mm.
if you didn't have to work? If money and time were not an issue, what would your life look like? I mean, I don't know how any people could say no to that or to this opportunity. I mean, I'm in this industry in network marketing. I could teach financial education outside of network marketing and make millions. I don't
Right.
have to do it here. I don't have to give away my stuff for free. I could sell
Right.
it. And the reason why I'm here is because nothing has the freedom and the rewards like this business. And for those that are on the fence and explaining it away, or listening to other voices, that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I just want to tell you, man, silence those voices and do some research on your own. Sit down and see what this is like. My critics have never paid my bills.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are worried about what family members are going to think or friends are going to think. And, I'm my life has become amazing because of this industry. If people knew the celebrities that live on my block, there's a
Yeah.
reason why there's a guard at the gate in front of my community. And guess what? My money spends just like theirs. And I did it all in this beautiful space, this
Right.
controversial space, this stereotyped space that people don't understand because they haven't really approached it like a student, saying, man, I've always felt this way about it, but tell me what I don't know about this industry. Change my mind.
Right.
What a great place to start. Change my mind about this instead of, well, I already know about that stuff. That stuff doesn't work. Well, most people are like that about this business, are usually like that about all the other opportunities in their life. And they never really get a chance to experience growth and success and things like that. And, entrepreneurs are students, and
Mm-hmm.
broke people know everything. And after dealing with hundreds of, probably millions by now, but let's just say hundreds of thousands of people that I've personally engaged with through the years, not just in network marketing. Before that was ministry and all of that. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been in the dealing with the person, building people, and and the majority of the people have that characteristic that are broke. They have a cynical mindset instead of a student mindset. And then there's another group of people. I know I'm being long-winded here, but I think it's important.
It's definitely
There's
important.
an there's another group of people that just don't think that they can learn a new skill. They have bought into the lie that if I didn't graduate from high school or I didn't go to college and I don't have a resume, I can't be successful.
Right.
And that is an absolute lie. It is such a lie. And everyone is a learning machine if they point their learning power in the right direction. If you point your learning power, which what we offer here in Overcome Nation
Mm-hmm.
and with Viseo, and you do everything that is taught in the curriculum here, your earning power will go through the roof. Go through the roof. It cost me a
Yeah.
$500,000 in mentorship out there that I give away for free. And the only reason why I have the life and the lifestyle that I have in multiple areas is because of that education. So stop saying no. Start believing in yourself. Stop being cynical. Stop explaining opportunity away. Stop saying that risk is bad. Risk and opportunity go hand in hand. Most of the time in business, when you take away the risk, you also take away the opportunity. And in network marketing, what? It's going to cost you, a few $100s to $1,500 to get started. Where's the risk in that? That's not risk.
Mm.
Not risk at all. Try a startup in a traditional business and see if you can get by with spending $1,500 to get started. You know,
Right.
this is a business you can be profitable in day one if you wanted to, if you went after it. So it's like
Right.
there's no risk at all. It's
Right.
how far can you fall from the basement?
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to step into this business, learn about the products, learn about the system, get educated, and to go out and change your life and really, really accomplish your dreams. I've never seen anything like it in any industry. And believe me, I have studied them all and paid for the course. There's nothing
Right.
like network marketing, in my opinion, when it comes to a person that has a whole lot of desire and doesn't have any real money. You don't need real money in network marketing. You need desire, and you need to be coachable, and you need to have a good work ethic and a
Mm.
willingness to learn a new skill. And all of that is free. That's all that stuff doesn't cost you anything. You can't do that in many other businesses. It always takes
Right.
more and more money, more and more money.
Right.
In this business, Kiyosaki said it best, not all deposits are made with cash. They can be made with time and
Yeah.
education. And that's what we have in Overcome Nation.
Yes, we do. I know that we're excited. I mean, so I can't even. Poor Frank at night. I'm like, Rick said this. Rick's doing this. We're doing this. He's
Frank,
like,
thank God Frank loves me, man. He'd be like, who the hell's Rick anyway?
it's a good thing. It's all good.
Uh,
I still remember him saying, whatever that guy tells you do it.
good, good. Well, I wish he was coming out here too. If he changes his
There'll be a
mind,
time.
you
Yeah.
guys come out to the house. It would be great to have you here.
I love that. Rick, I took a lot of your time tonight, but I wanted to touch on some points, and you nailed every single one of them like I knew you would. Thank you so much for doing this for me today. I appreciate
No
it.
problem. Happy to do it.
Thanks,
Thank you
Rick.
so much. Have a good night.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All
Bye.
right. Bye, everyone.